If you're in the middle of packing boxes and planning a move right now, you already know the sheer stress that comes with relocating. But there is one foundational, absolute must-do task that somehow always slips through the cracks until the very last minute, and that's setting up your local utilities. Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to walk through a completely stress-free, comprehensive guide to setting up your water service in Chandler, Arizona. We're going to take all the guesswork right out of this process and turn what could be a massive headache into a simple, easy checklist.
So, picture this. You've just spent 12 exhausting hours hauling heavy furniture into your new home in Chandler. You're covered in dust, you walk into the bathroom to turn on the tap, to splash some water on your face, and nothing. Not a single drop. Cue the sheer panic of realizing you totally forgot to set up your water service. It's a surprisingly common pain point for new residents, and honestly, getting it sorted out can feel incredibly overwhelming when you don't even know who to call or what forms to fill out. But hey, don't worry. By the end of this explainer, you'll be fully equipped to make sure the water is flowing the very moment you step through your front door.
All right, here's our step-by-step playbook. We're going to quickly cover your Chandler water providers, the application process, fees and payments, timelines, troubleshooting and support, and finally, smart meters and conservation.
Starting off with Section 1. Welcome to Chandler Water. Let's figure out exactly who your provider actually is.
Now, what's really interesting here is that Chandler actually has multiple water providers. The City of Chandler Public Works and Utilities Department is the primary provider. They service around 247,000 residents inside the city limits. But if you're moving to certain unincorporated areas or specific neighborhoods, you might actually fall under a private concessionaire. For instance, EPCOR handles specific unincorporated tracts, and Arizona Water Company manages other designated private service territories. You should always double-check your exact address, but for the vast majority of you watching, the City of Chandler is going to be your go-to provider. So that's who we're primarily focusing on today.
Let's move right along to Section 2, the application process. Basically, how to get connected.
So the crucial point here is that Chandler uses a highly efficient telephonic enrollment model, meaning you don't need to mail in a massive, overwhelming stack of paperwork. You simply need to gather your ID, your lease or closing documents, and your billing info, and then just give their main hotline a call at 480-782-2280 during normal business hours. Your account is established dynamically right over the phone. Now, if you're someone who prefers a face-to-face interaction, you can also schedule an appointment online to visit the Utility Customer Service Center, which is located on the first floor of City Hall.
Next up is Section 3, fees, deposits, and payments. Let's talk about what you owe upfront.
Right off the bat, every single new utility account is assessed a standard $25 non-refundable activation fee, plus tax. But the good news? You don't have to awkwardly pull out your credit card and read off numbers while you're on the phone setting up the service. This fee simply gets billed to your first invoice, which keeps the whole initial setup process as frictionless as possible.
Now, Chandler also utilizes a credit-based security deposit framework. If you haven't established credit with the city yet, you're going to be required to pay a refundable security deposit. And these rates scale depending on your housing type and location. So a standard single-family home inside the city limits requires a $120 deposit, while that same exact home just outside the city limits requires $168. If you happen to be renting or owning a multifamily unit like a duplex or a triplex, those deposit minimums jump up to $240 and $360 respectively.
But wait, what if you want to keep that cash in your pocket for, actual moving expenses? You can actually get this deposit waived entirely. All you need to do is request a formal letter of credit from your previous utility provider, wherever you lived before, demonstrating a satisfactory payment history for the immediate past 12 months. Just present that during your application process, and Chandler will waive the deposit requirement. Seriously, it's an amazing pro tip that saves a lot of folks a decent chunk of change on moving day.
Once your service is active and the water is finally flowing, managing your bills is super convenient. Chandler has built a really robust payment infrastructure. You can set up autopay through their online portal using your checking account or a credit card. Or, if you prefer digital wallets, they accept Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal, and even Venmo. For the traditionalists out there, you can pay over the automated phone system, mail a check, or use the incredibly convenient drive-up drop box located in the westbound median of Chicago Street right outside City Hall. You literally don't even have to get out of your car.
All right, Section 4, timelines and expectations. Let's talk about when exactly that water turns on. The golden rule here is advance notice. You absolutely must give the city at least one full business day's notice before your requested activation date. And here is the real kicker. They do not process service connections on weekends or on city-observed holidays. So if you're moving in on a Saturday of a 3-day holiday weekend and you wait until Friday afternoon to call, yeah, you're going to be without water until Tuesday. Always call at least a few days ahead of your move-in date to get on the schedule.
Moving into Section 5, troubleshooting and support. Because even with the best preparation, hiccups can happen.
I highly recommend taking out your phone right now and saving this number, 480-782-2280. This is your direct lifeline to Chandler Utility Services. During the day, they can help you with setting up structured payment plans if you're facing any financial hardship, or they can answer specific billing inquiries. But crucially, this exact same number acts as the 24-hour emergency hotline. If a water main breaks in your street at 2 in the morning, this is the number you call to get an emergency crew dispatched. While we're on the topic of support, I have to highlight an amazing community resource built right into the utility system itself. It's called the Acts of Kindness, or AOK program. If you happen to have a few extra dollars to spare each month, you can voluntarily add a $1, $2, or $5 donation to your water bill. Those funds are then distributed through local nonprofit grants to support low-income Chandler families who might be struggling to keep their own utilities on. It's just a brilliant, low-friction way to help out your new neighbors.
Finally, Section 6, Smart Meters and Conservation. Let's look at the future of water in Chandler.
Right now, the city is actively swapping out thousands of aging analog Neptune water meters for brand new advanced metering infrastructure, or AMI, smart meters. Supported by a grant from the EPA, this new network will be fully live by 2027. And what this means for you as a resident is that you won't have to wait for a monthly bill to see your water usage anymore. You'll actually be able to log into an online portal from your smartphone or tablet, track your daily consumption, and even receive automated alerts if the system detects a leak on your property. It's a massive leap forward in giving homeowners real control over their utility data.
And that data really matters, because water conservation is taken very seriously out here in the desert. Thanks to tiered rates, rebate incentives, and education programs, the average Chandler household impressively uses 20% less water today than they did 25 years ago. The city has secured a highly diverse water supply from the Salt, Verde, and Colorado rivers, plus decades of water stored underground. By managing your usage through those upcoming smart meters, you're participating in a long-standing tradition of protecting this absolutely vital resource.
Before we wrap up this explainer, let's review a few final pro tips for a seamless transition. First, always keep records of your application date and the name of the representative you spoke with. Second, have your lease or closing documents saved as a PDF on your phone, just in case they need to verify your exact move-in date. And finally, and this is a big one, when you set up your service, explicitly ask them about your initial meter reading. You want to ensure that baseline is recorded accurately so you are never ever billed for the previous occupant's water usage. As a quick reminder, municipal policies, exact activation fees, and security deposit rates are always subject to change. While we've provided a comprehensive overview based on current data, please be sure to verify these details directly with Chandler's utility department or your specific private provider for the most up-to-date and specific guidance.
And there you have it. I hope this explainer has you fully equipped and eager to settle into your new home. Moving is stressful enough without finding the tap completely dry. So here's my final thought for you to chew on. Once you get settled in and that new smart meter goes live, how will you use your own daily data to help shape the future of water conservation in the desert? Get those utilities set up and welcome to Chandler.